Good evening. Welcome to this very large crowd for the Combined Neighborhood Watch meeting. I'd like to thank everyone for being here. I would like to thank our recognize our special guests for being here. We have town council members, Keith Price, Paranis Ramikis, Bobby Ryan, Megan Taylor, Frank Reeves Jr. Who else do we have? We have Gary Deal from the Board of Supervisors in the back. We have the president of the Culpeper Christian Ministerial Association, Eric Kalinga. We have Mr. Robert Anstein from the Culpeper Cable Commission. We have town manager Chris Hively. We'd like to thank all of our volunteers and our explorers who are in and out of the building helping out. And we'll go ahead and get started, and I'll turn it over to Brittany Jenkins, who will explain why this meeting is so amazing.
Like he said, my name is Brittany Jenkins. I'm a sergeant here with the Culpeper Police Department, and I too would like to thank everyone that's here this evening because it is a very special meeting. Today we have the opportunity, a great opportunity, to recognize a member of our community who is extraordinary, who doesn't maybe hear it as much or isn't in the limelight or doesn't ask to be there, but well deserving. So today we honor our amazing citizen and present her with an Amazing Citizen Award. So a while back, the chief had an idea. And you always know he has an idea when he makes the statement, hey, when you have a minute, come see me in my office. Very standard, and good and well at that moment, he either has an idea, there's a complaint to be handled, or there's some task at hand. So this idea in particular was a very good one, and we all can appreciate this because in our job, we see a lot of times the very special people behind the scenes, the people that don't make the media, that aren't in the public view on a daily basis, we get to see them. So he suggested having the community nominate a special person. And through those nominations, they come to the chief. We sat down as a panel and went through all these nominations and chose a very special lady, Miss Effie Foster. So what makes an amazing citizen? This person is usually out of the public sight, may or may not be a part of an organization, is kind and compassionate, a good listener, that does many small acts of kindness, making Culpeper a much better place to live. And this person or people, through this award, may not ask or want compensation for any of their good deeds. So this is some of what was said. Welcome to Culpeper, a town and county unlike any other. Pastoral views, a vibrant downtown, where destinations and activities abound. There is one aspect in particular that helps Culpeper rise above the rest: the people. Every day, all over the community, people are working to make a difference.
She's just kind, sweet, considerate, compassionate, empathetic.
I don't know how to explain it. It's just her personality and her loving way. I think that's, other than her family, I think that's what she lives for, is to help others.
One, I think she enjoys it. She's a people person. She loves to give back to the community. She likes helping people. She would rather give than to receive. That's just Effie. She just gives so much. We call her the Pie Lady. She's well known for making pies for the Brandy Fire Department for their dinners, and the police department and the sheriff's department. So anybody that needs anything, Effie will make pies for them.
She bakes pies for anybody and everybody who wants them and never charges, will not let you pay for it. She's just so giving. She's very thoughtful and very giving, and will do anything you need.
She has friends who's, some are older, some are younger, that are not in good health, and she's taking them to doctor's appointments and chemo appointments, and there were times when she broke her arm, and she went away on vacation, broke her arm. That didn't stop Effie. She was still going to her therapy, but still going out every day and doing for everybody else.
She will take anybody anywhere for doctor's appointments, hospital, to the pharmacy, anything that they need, groceries, she's right there. She'll take them, or she'll pick it up and take it to them. All you have to do is ask her, and she's there.
I used to go to Gay Hearts and take my boys, and I would take them in, and you're young, you're on a limited income, and I would tell the boys, okay, we're going to get this and we're going to split it, and they were okay with it, and we'd go in and Miss Effie would say, okay, now boys, now look at me, don't look at Mom, tell me what you want to eat, and they would look, and she said, no, look at me, what do y'all want? And she would give, you want a burger, you want a fry, or this or that, and so she would just, fix them something to eat, and then at the end, she would give them something called a grilled donut with ice cream on top, and they just thought that was awesome. It was an Effie special, and I get just thinking about it. And then I would ask for the ticket so I could pay for it, and I would get a ticket of like $2, and I would say, Effie, this isn't right, and she said, oh yes it is. And I'm like, no, it's more than that. And Turner would come over and he says, no, it's not, it's $2. And I'm like, I knew better than to argue. And I'm like, okay. So I would go on and pay my bill, and they would pick up the rest of it. And she was just so amazing. She just helped so many people out. We have people that come into the cafe, and if she thinks they don't have money, or she'll treat people to breakfast or lunch, or kids come in and she'll tuck money in their hands, and tell them to go buy something. She does. She has her family with her kids and her grandchildren and great-grandchildren. And then she has the Country Cafe family where she comes up there, and then she goes to the Four Seas and she has that family. And she has her church family.
She has a lot of secondary families. I don't think she has a secondary family. She has a lot of them.
She has the police force family. She's loved by the town police and the sheriff's department. Everybody just loves her. Everybody knows Effie. You don't even have to say a last name. All you have to do is say Effie, and they know who you're talking about. She's right up there with Madonna and Cher and all that group, just Effie.
Everything she does for everybody. It doesn't matter who you are. She'll be there for you. And she does it freely and willingly, and she loves doing it. It's because she enjoys it. She likes people, and she wants to help people. She gives back. She gives back to the community. She never accepts any type of repayment.
She's somebody that wants better for other people and better for the community. Well, I hope I can be half as good as Effie. If I can get there and be half of what Effie is, when I get to be her age, I will be happy. And I love her so much.
I just want to say thank you to Effie, because you're a very special lady. You are very important, and you filled the room, you filled the roll call room, you filled the front. Everybody absolutely loves you, and it was seen by all. But I also, knowing how much you do, I know that you have a small army behind you, and I just want you to know we want to say thank you to her 12 children, her 26 grandchildren, her 50 great-grandchildren, and her 1 great-great-grandchild, a lot of whom are actually in this room today. So thank you guys for supporting her and allowing her to do all the special things that she does. Chief, you want to come up here real quick.
Wasn't such a bad idea, was it? They give me a hard time about my ideas, but a special thanks to Johnny Krawchuk and the Culpeper Media. They worked really hard on this. I banged them all up pretty hard. Brittany worked real hard, and Stacy Nicholson and everybody. But the real reason we're here is for Miss Effie Foster. And you know, Effie, you have spent a lifetime in giving to others and taking care of other folks. Well, and I will tell you, we could all learn a big lesson from Effie Foster. We could really learn one. And tonight is a night that, among family and friends and a community, a very grateful community, we can just say thank you for all you've done. It has truly been an honor. I love seeing you in Martins. You walk around. Clearly, wherever Effie is at, she is in charge. She has that presence about her, like you just know. I mean, it's an aura about it. But you're quite a special person. And tonight we are able to just say thank you and present you with some awards. And I just say, as a chief of police, it's a pretty good job in this town. But tonight it's a really good job because it's an honor and a privilege of mine to be able to present you our very first Amazing Citizen Award. I introduce Miss Effie Foster. First one of these, so I hope we get it right. So it is with great honor to present Effie Foster with our Amazing Citizen Award. In recognition of your endless efforts, dedication to community outreach and involvement, the Culpeper Police Department and the community we serve appreciates your dedication and unconditional support. Your commitment to community service truly what makes you an amazing citizen. Congratulations on this outstanding achievement. Congratulations.
All right, don't you go anywhere.
Don't go anywhere. We got some great sponsors that when they heard my idea, they liked it too. And they jumped on the board, and we could have filled the whole thing up, but we decided not to do that. So, Brittany, do the honors here.
Do the honors. All right. So, like he said, we have these amazing sponsors, and when we approached them about what we were doing, there was no questions asked. They said, "What do you need?" They were completely 100% with us on this, and they absolutely loved the fact that we were recognizing Miss Effie Foster. So. We have many things to provide to you today. From the Green Roost, we have and so we wanted to do something unique because we have an amazing community with so many amazing things downtown, and we wanted to give you kind of a day on the town. Okay, so we thought about having lunch for two at It's About Time. We have Knackles Bakery, where they said that you could have donuts, cupcakes, cake, whatever you want.
Maybe that Effie special.
Effie special. And then my favorite, personally, I'm just gonna say, is Old Town Massage. Listen, I know there's a certain person in this room who will steal this from you, so you need to hide it. So these are all for you. And a big thank you to all of our sponsors.
With that word, you know that. My children tell you I talk all the time, but I'm so overwhelmed. I think I'm almost out of words.
You don't have to say a word.
But I want to.
Well, I know your grandson never missed an opportunity with a microphone, so
Well,
maybe that's where he got it
he's
at.
kidding the grandma. But just want to thank everyone. I'm just overwhelmed. I'm just feel very humble. And what I do, I enjoy doing
I
thoroughly.
know you do.
And just so nice to see so many people here tonight to Gay Hearts. One of the best jobs I've ever known was at Gay Hearts Drugstore, and all of my friends here we have breakfast with. I just don't want to leave out anyone because my family. I'm just overwhelmed. Most of all, you all in the police department. And you can see why I consider this one of the top 10 cities in the United States. Culpeper is.
Well, we're humbled to be in your presence. Thank you.
Our guest speaker this evening has a wealth of information. I went to one of her classes, and I did not realize the information that was out there with the 211. Basic human needs, physical and mental health resources, work sources, support for seniors and those with disabilities, support for children, youth, and families, volunteering in the community, and that's just a touch on it. She can explain a whole lot more. So our guest speaker this evening is Mary Ellen Hutchinson. She is a regional manager for 211, and she has a wealth of information. Ms. Hutchinson.
I was going to say good morning, but good evening. It's been a long day. So my name is Mary Ellen Hutcherson, and I am the Regional Outreach Manager for 211 Virginia. I'm going to tell you a little about what it is we do, how we work with communities across the state, and how we can help you anytime, any day. So 211 Virginia, 211 is a national system. It was mandated after 9/11 by Homeland Security that every state in the country have a 211 system, and we do. So between 2001 and up to today, every state in the country, Canada, Guam, and Puerto Rico have a 211 system. So 211s across the country all pretty much work the same. What we do is help connect people to resources in their community. And those resources are anything a person needs to live on a daily basis. It's housing, food, clothing, job training, healthcare. It's senior care. It's transportation. It's help paying rent. It's help paying your utility bills. It's help paying prescription drug bills. Anything like that. We have a database for resources for every county and city in the state of Virginia. We are actually a program of the Virginia Department of Social Services, and when we were first formed in the state of Virginia back in the early 2000s, we were actually written into the charter of the state of Virginia, and that means that the state must fund us. And so we do that every year. They go and they approve our operating funds, and it also gives us protections under the law as well. So we are a very, very easy system to utilize. First of all, the number you call is 211. That is the number. I get that question all the time. What number do I call? It is part of that 1-1 system from 211 all the way up to 911. So literally you just dial 211 from any landline or cell phone in the state, and that'll connect to us. And then we have very highly trained people who answer the phone who can help you find whatever resources you're looking for. So you can call us and say, hey, I'm calling from Culpeper and I need food. So we're going to put Culpeper County. If you want to give us a zip code, that's even better because we can narrow it down by zip code. And then we put the word food in. And our database works a lot like Google. It's just going to search all through our database and find those food resources that are going to be available to you here in the county. And then we start pulling up those resources. And our resources come from state, local, and federal government programs, nonprofit organizations and faith-based organizations. We also take for-profit companies if they can prove to us that they have a free or sliding scale. And generally that is when they base the cost of their services on how much a person makes. That tends to be a lot of new health facilities are doing that. Drug and alcohol treatment centers will do that. And if they have to have a written notice that we can actually see that they can send to us and say, yes, we do, we will then include them on our database. If it's just a straight for-profit company, they're not eligible to be part of our database because you can just Google them. So then we start asking somebody who calls us a couple of questions, and we do because our database has some very specialized area. Right now we have about 22,000 listings on our database for the state. We also have listings for DC and Maryland just because of the proximity and people going across the borders into those areas. But generally we have about 22,000 for the state of Virginia. So we want to be sure that when we tell somebody what resources are available, we're matching them to what the best possible resource out there, meaning they're going to be eligible to get that service. So we'll ask them, do you have a disability? Are you a senior? Are you a veteran? Do you have children under the age of 6 in your house? So this helps us go through our database and our resources and find out what resources are really going to fit your need. Because if you tell me you're a senior, I can search for those agencies that provide services specifically for seniors. And if you don't know, I have programs that have seniors from 55 and up. So it doesn't necessarily have to be that 65 or 62. So if you tell me I'm not sure if I'm a senior, you just tell us and then we can start searching for that. What we're going to do is we're going to bring up all the listings for food for Culpeper County. And then we're going to start reading what we call eligibility requirements. So all of those agencies that we work with have eligibility requirements in order to get those services. Generally, the biggest one is residency. Do you live in the county, town, zip code where we provide services? Some of them are income. Do you meet income requirements? The good thing about nonprofit and faith-based organizations, they do not have to follow state or federal guidelines for poverty levels. They can set their own income guidelines. We'll also ask you some of them will say there is an age requirement, okay? So if they are a senior, some of them will say we only serve people who are 18 and older, et cetera. So we want to know those questions right up front. And we're going to tell you that. Say, do you live, the agency requires you to live in the county. Do you live in the county? Yes, okay. If there's any other requirements, can you prove where you live? Because you probably have to do that. If they can say yes to any question we ask for, we will tell them who that agency is and give them contact information. If they don't at any time, we just keep going down our list and find hopefully 3 really good agencies that can help you get whatever resources you need. And we will do that for as many topics as you ask us for. So if you need help paying your rent, but you also need food, we can help you find all of that in one phone call. We can also translate into more than 240 languages. We don't ask you to call back. We simply put you on hold. We get a translator on the line, and they can help you right away. Our service is free. We never charge anybody for any of our services. We're also 24/7, 365. You can call us any hour of any day in the year, Christmas, New Year's, Thanksgiving Day. We will be there. There will always be live people there to help answer your calls. We average about 200,000 calls a year that we answer. We do have a large percentage of what we call junk calls. And those are people asking for directions. We get that a lot. They want us to find out the numbers for pizza places. We are not information, but people will ask us that anyhow. Then they will ask us, a lot of times they'll ask what the weather is. We get those calls every single day from senior citizens across the state who call us at 5 o'clock every morning and say, can you tell me what the weather is? The people who answer our calls are scattered throughout the state of Virginia, so if you're in Culpeper and you get somebody in Roanoke, very different weather, particularly in the winter time. It could be snowing down there and be very lovely up here. But we answer those calls every day, and we're happy to help people. That is our job, is to help people. In reality, we do not care who you are when you call us. Our charter with the state of Virginia, our calls are 100% confidential. We share our records with nobody. We've been doing business with the state now since 2006, and not one time has anybody ever gotten our records at all. That includes law enforcement, courts, social services, hospitals. Nobody gets our records because people are calling us for very personal and sometimes crisis help, and we want them to be able to speak honestly and truthfully to us and be able to tell us exactly what it is that they need from us. So we do tell them whatever they tell us is going to stay with us. We do keep very detailed records of the calls that people call into us for. And mainly the reason for that is because if they call back, somebody calls us for food in August, and then they call back in September and say, hey, I need help with this now, we're going to have a record of what we gave them in over last month. If they call us back and say, hey, I need food again, our first question to them is going to be, why didn't you call, or did you call the agencies we've already given you? And if not, why not? And let's go over this and start all over again. We're happy to do that. I will tell you that 60% of our calls are to help pay rent and utility bills. And that you will find at every 211 across the country, every day, every week. Housing, rental assistance and utility go back and forth between 1 and 2. And depending on the county or the city, but they are our largest request. Generally, people will pay their rent and mortgage first, buy food, and then whatever's left is for utilities. Cable TV and your cell phone are not utilities. We do not pay cable TV or cell phones. We get those calls every day too. So technically you can live without a landline, so phones are not a utility at all. You cannot live without heat and water and sewer, and those are the utility bills that we can help pay.
I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
Do you work in conjunction with shelters, specifically domestic violence?
We
sexual
do.
assault shelters?
We do. We do not list the actual shelters, but the agencies that will help them. Legally, we're not allowed to have those shelters listed because we don't want somebody calling us and us telling them where the shelter is, but we work with every domestic violence agency in the state. Yes, we do.
If I work in a shelter, and if we were to have somebody re-enter society, would you be a terrific resource for them?
Yep, we could help them with everything.
Information?
Yep, I do, and we'll get to, I have all kinds of, I can help them with, if they need to get into their own place, we can help them get a deposit, we can help them secure rental assistance, we can help them get hookups for the utilities, for payments for like that. If they need job training, so we can tell them what job training centers are, where they can go and stuff like that, yes, we can help them with that all the time, yes.
That's
Yeah,
good resource.
yeah. So, like I said, we are 24/7, so whenever you call us, the live person is there to take that call. But we also have a very active website. We had almost 100,000 people come to our website last year, and it's 211virginia.org. And you can go on and search for resources on the on the website as well, and it is the exact same thing as if you called us. We don't hide anything. We don't put anything different on the website. I will tell you, if you've never called us before, to go ahead and call first time and just walk it through with a person, let them walk you through it. It's just like using Google, and you put it, if you put in the word food, you'll get 100 million hits. Why? Because it's food, it's supermarkets, it's restaurants, it's personal chefs. If you're lucky, you'll find a food pantry. Our database kind of works the same thing. We work off of a keyword, and so sometimes it may not be a logical thing. So just go ahead and give us a call. And I tell people this all the time, and my boss knows I do this. Just make something up if you want to. We have no way of knowing if it's true or not, and just to see how the system works. And we're still happy to help you. About 50% of our calls, almost just about half, are from people calling on behalf of somebody else. So it could be a parent calling for a child, an adult child calling for a parent, a caretaker, a roommate, anybody. And that's fine. We will give them the exact same information if that person called us. And because of our confidentiality, nobody has to give us their name if they don't want to. I probably have multiple pages on our database of every basketball star, movie star, singer. We have Mickey Mouse, we have Beyonce, we have lots of LeBron James. People, we don't care, truthfully. I mean, we answer so many calls, the next person we just get on, we're not going to remember that. And it's perfectly fine. We don't have any problem with that. The other good thing too is if you want us to, we can actually email you the information on all those resources for you. So if you have somebody who is not computer savvy, if you can't use it, or they actually need to have a written piece of paper, you just tell us that and we're happy to send that to you. And they'll just get email address and they'll send it right off into the email to you. We also have a chat feature on our website now. So if you can't find what you're looking, just hit the little chat button. The little person will come up, they'll tell you exactly what to look for. So I have some public information materials for you, and these tell you exactly what we do. If you have a cell phone that is one of those pay-as-you-go cell phones, we have a toll-free number that's good both in-state and out-of-state, and you can use that number instead. A lot of times people will say to me, oh, I tried and I couldn't get through. And I know that that's not true. Last year for Hurricane Florence, we partnered with the Virginia Department of Emergency Management, where there are call centers in any disaster, either natural or man-made, across the state. And we answered 15,000 calls from Hurricane Florence in 24 hours last year. So there is no way you'll ever get a busy signal from us because we know how many calls we can handle. So you can go ahead and use this toll-free number. It's just as if you were dialing that 211 number. And then I also have these little wallet cards, and these are great because you literally can put them in your wallet or your purse and just have that. You never know. I have people say to me, oh, I don't need this service now. Nobody knows what's going to happen a month down the road, 6 months down the road. And if you have this or you pass it on to somebody, that's perfect. We want as many people to use our service as possible. I always say it's the greatest service that nobody's ever heard of. Unfortunately, as a state program, we do not have an advertising budget. I am the advertising budget. So I come out and I talk to communities about this all the time. But we do want you to use it. And I will tell you, there is not one thing that you could think of that we do not have on our database. I've been doing this almost 8 years now, and nobody has ever come up with anything that we do not have on our database. So I can tell you where in the state of Virginia, what county removes gang tattoos and sex trafficking tattoos. I can tell you where a new mother can get diapers. I can tell you what agencies can help you with burial assistance. I had a woman who called in a couple of years ago, and she had snakes in her house, and that was plural, snakes in her house. And she had used our service before, called us back, and we were able to find her a nonprofit agency that came out to her house and removed those snakes. It's just what happens. So there really isn't anything. We have very inventive, genius people answering our calls. So there really isn't anything you could think of that we can't help you with. And if you're not sure what it is you need, call us anyhow. We get lots of people who aren't quite sure what avenue they're supposed to ask for. So for example, we'll get parents to say, I have a troubled teenager. Okay, so then we're going to really start asking questions. Is it a mental health issue? Is it a drug and alcohol issue? Is it a gang issue? Is it just truancy? What is it? So that we can actually go through and pick those services that are going to be best for them, and not just give them something just off the top of our head. We usually spend 5 to 10 minutes on call with each person that calls us. We will stay on there. We've had people stay on the phone with them for an hour if they need to be, if we need to find as many services as we can. So I encourage you to call us if you need. I'm going to pass these all out. Please take some. I have additional ones. These are also available in English and Spanish. So if you have a place of worship, if you have a neighborhood community center that you need, that could use our materials, you let me know. I send them out continually. The post office knows me very, very well. And I'm happy to send them out to you all, again, free of charge. I know it's a lot of information. I promised I would talk fast. I have actually done this for 90 minutes sometimes. So, but does anybody have any questions? Yes, ma'am.
So you're strictly referral. You're not having funds to help somebody.
No, we do not. We will simply tell you what agencies or organizations out there that do have the funds to help you. As long as you meet their criteria, that is what we're going to tell you. And the good thing about the way our service works is because we are a statewide service, so we cover every county and city with one database, there are services available to people in Culpeper who are not located in Culpeper. For example, the two largest agencies that pay for prescription drug medications aren't even in the state of Virginia. One's in Florida and one's in Ohio. And we have those numbers. There's lots of rental and mortgage assistance. A lot of those programs come out of Richmond, but they cover the entire state of Virginia. And so where your local agencies may not know about that, it is our job to know all about that. So just keep that in mind, that we may be giving you things from Fredericksburg, Fairfax, Richmond, or even a DC agency. Does anybody else have any other questions? Yes, ma'am.
Do you do this presentation outside of Culpeper?
I do it. I cover 35 counties and cities. Yes, I do it everywhere across the state. I'm happy to come and talk to anybody, organizations, community organizations, your workplace. I'm happy to do that because my goal is to let people know that these services are available. And unfortunately, we are starting to see an uptick in the number of calls we're getting. Our calls we got 10,000 more calls than we did last year. So we are seeing that a little bit, which means that there's a growing need in the state. I'm not sure if any or all of you know this, but in 2018 there was a study that came out that the state of Virginia has 5 of the top 10 cities for number of evictions. Richmond was number 2 in the country for number of evictions. So housing is why housing is such a major issue in this state. So that's what we're trying to tackle.
Do you have your personal contact?
I do. I have a business card. Yeah, absolutely. Does anybody else have any other questions? I'm going to stick around, so if you have anything, please feel free to come and ask me. Thank you for having me. I hope you all learned something tonight, and I hope it's a service that you'll use. Thank you.
The next person we're going to have come up is the detectives. Before I mention that, though, I want to recognize the Commonwealth attorneys here this evening, Paul Walworth, and Assistant Commonwealth. Maggie Clarity's here. Was?
Stepped out for a moment.
Okay.
Somewhere onto another meeting.
Oh, okay. Now we're going to bring up Anthony Caruso, who's a detective here in the police department. He's going to go over some cases we're working here at the police department.
Good evening. I don't really have too many cases to really talk about tonight. I'm more or less going into some crime prevention and preparation. The first thing is one of the sheets I gave you was storm preparation that was put out by Dominion Energy. I won't bore you with the whole list of everything on there, but more or less it talks about make sure your prescriptions are filled, water, food, gas, if you have a generator, backup batteries, and that sort of thing, when we know there's a big thunderstorm coming in. The next thing I do want to talk to you about, which I can tell you I was affected, is the Equifax data breach. I can't remember when exactly it happened. I think it was July of this year, if I'm not mistaken. However, Equifax, the credit bureau, was actually breached. A lot of people's information was put out there, and what they're offering is if you go on, verify whether or not your information was accessed, they're either offering up to $125 credit, or they're going to give you credit monitoring service for an extended period of time. I can tell you, I went on and checked it out. I was accessed. My wife was accessed. The $125 payment is more for the people whose information was used in some kind of fraudulent way, and they've had to spend money to rectify that on their own. So in that first sheet that I gave you, there is a website for the Federal Trade Commission for the Equifax. If you go to that, it'll take you straight through the whole process. You type in your information, and it'll actually forward you all the way to Equifax, get you either your $125 settlement or your credit monitoring for up to a year. I've also included with that as the last sheet is a mail-in form that you could mail in for those of you who do not like to use the internet. Anything else? Y'all have a good evening.
Next on the agenda, we'll be going over some community services and events. I would like to recognize Miss Nancy Lagasse. Don't give me that look. She is on the and writer, and she is on the Culpeper County Disability Service Board. We had done she had brought some information to light about the new law change, and with her help, Culpeper Media and Sergeant Brittany Jenkins, we did a public service announcement. So this evening, very shortly, we will be unveiling that public service announcement.
Hi, I'm Nancy Legassi with the Culpeper Disability Awareness Committee. A new amendment has gone into effect regarding handicap parking. Ryder, calm down. The amendment allows for ticketing for vehicles parked in the striped lines. Parking over the white lines makes it very difficult for people with special needs to get their wheelchair, their scooter, their walker out of their vehicle. Good boy, Ryder.
Hi, I'm Sergeant Brittany Jenkins, Culpeper Police Department, and I'm here to pass on an important message about a new update that's taken effect as of July 1st of this year in regards to our handicap parking. This is in regards to the white stripe lines. The public and people with handicap placards and licensing are not able to park in the white stripe lines or in any way infringe upon the white stripe lines outside of your parking space. This is now a ticketable offense on both public and private property, regardless of whether you have a placard or a handicap license plate. So make sure when you're parking your vehicle to steer clear of these white stripe lines.
Again, the Culpeper Police Department wants to thank Nancy for her work that she does with the Culpeper County Disability Services, and we're very thankful to have you. Let's move on to upcoming events. For August, this Saturday on the 24th, we are having Coffee with Cops at Starbucks from 8 a.m. to 11. Jason Smith is rallying troops for that event.
I'm working the drive-through.
Also on that day, Start Kids Strong Challenge is held from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. at the Culpeper Baptist Church. On Sunday, August 25th, Bowers Bowl will be from 1 to 4 p.m. at Mountain Run Bowling for suicide awareness. Let's see, on 8/27, which is Tuesday at noon, there will be the ribbon cutting for the unveiling of Rockwater Park. Did somebody ask the date? Tuesday, 27th at noon, 12 p.m. On September 12th, Master Officer Mike Grant and myself will be doing a HIPS, Hidden in Plain Sight presentation for Chesterfield Mental Health Prevention Services down in Chesterfield, Virginia. On September 19th will be the third Thursday makeup concert at the Depot. This will be the last third Thursday concert. That will be from 5 p.m. to 9 p.m. On September 20th will be the Culpeper Fiesta down at the Depot. And that is from 6 p.m. to 10 p.m. On September 21st, our own Jason Smith is spearheading another event, Cover the Cruiser, from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. at Target. Proceeds for that event will be benefiting the Virginia Special Olympics. And on October 8th, the Art of Aging Expo will be held at the Daniel Technology Center from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. So those are the major events that are happening coming up soon. Does anyone have any questions or comments? That concludes our joint neighborhood watch meeting. Our next meeting will be on October 24th at 6:30. Oh, yes, and keep the nominations coming for the Amazing Citizen Award because we will have a new winner on that day.